Hi, my name is Mark Walker. I'm the editorial director of the FinTech Times, and we're here at Abu Dhabi Finance Week, day 2. I'm going to start off by asking my interviewee to introduce himself to you, the audience.
Hi, I'm Yoni Assia. I'm co-founder and CEO of eToro, the world's largest social investment network with over 40 million registered users.
Wonderful. It's an absolute pleasure to be speaking to you today. You probably don't know it, but actually in 2015, when the FinTech Times started, you were the person that I wanted to actually interview. And this is the first time we've ever actually spoken.
Yes. I'm very approachable. You should have talked to my team earlier.
I think it's one of those things, it's like ships in the night where you disappear at different sort of points. But it's really interesting in my mind because I see eToro as kind of like the OG of the sort of the digitalization world, because you were the first people to really take very archaic TradFi, traditional finance systems, and bring them into the masses. So it's kind of interesting to see that journey. But also now you're kind of, are you now the traditional finance people?
I hope
now going forwards, or
I hope not. But we were very early on. So eToro founded in 2007, right? So pre-crypto. So by definition, we're TradFi, right? So we're TradFi first, then completely fell in love in Bitcoin in 2011, very early on. And then actually started talking and writing about tokenization when we wrote the Colored Coins paper in 2012 with Vitalik, right? So we were like 13 years looking at the space, and then we're the first to, as a regulated TradFi, to launch Bitcoin trading in 2013, and then started adding assets during the first crypto craze of 2017. So sort of saw all of the cycles, the 13, the 17, 2021, 20, like all of the various cycles of crypto. And I think now the market is maturing for two very big things where we are also sort of adapting our strategy for it. So the unique part of eToro has always been regulated financial institution now with about 4 million brokerage accounts at $20 billion of assets where you can trade stocks and crypto and copy the top investors on the network, right? So diversify your investments across various parts of capital markets, and we consider crypto to be like another capital market. But I think what's happening right now, which is very interesting trends, is one, the shift to DeFi and to non-custodial wallets. So we are launching now our non-custodial wallet as well, where our customers will have access to on-chain markets in addition to TradFi markets and digital assets. And the second part is the digitization now of real-world assets. So what we wrote about in 2012 is actually just happening now. And the reason I think it took so long is for the regulatory environment to actually allow that to happen. Because in order to bring in private markets and stocks and credit markets onto blockchains, you have to connect, to be able to connect like the real world into the digital world. And that's definitely something you're seeing actually here in the conference, because we are in Abu Dhabi Finance Week, but so much crypto here taking over Abu Dhabi Finance Week.
Yeah, and I think it's, a lot of people that I've been speaking to that I was already speaking to in 2012, 2013, they're kind of like, it's finally happened. Everything that we were predicting is finally happening. And some people have likened it to sort of the start of the internet, where you had dial-up and you didn't have the speed, you didn't have the infrastructure to make things in digital assets really happen quickly. Is that something that you can relate to as well?
Yeah, I think by definition, you had a lot of stars to align, right? There's this very known statement that software is going to eat everything. So crypto or digital assets, this is software for money. So by definition, digital assets is going to eat finance, right? As a whole, the entire cake, hundreds of trillions of dollars are moving on chain. But now we have also the SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, saying US capital markets are moving on chain. And that was a required necessity to basically reconnect the traditional finance world eventually with all of the innovations we've seen over the years in crypto markets.
What do you think's driven that? Do you think it's user driven, as in users demanding it? Or do you think it was more the industry realizing that it needed to modernize and transform?
I think that first of all, money talks, right? So when the US government has one of the, I think, top 10 holders of treasuries in the world now, are stable coins. And it's worth about $300 billion of stable coins. And when a market comes to a certain size, right, so we're at about $3+ trillion of the crypto markets, then the financial institutions have to look at that. To look at, in eToro as a public company, but others as public companies as well. So you look at the space and you see the space is growing to $3 trillion. And everybody knows that those $3 trillion plus digital assets on chain are going to grow maybe to $100 trillion. Then they understand that there's a real business opportunity. And when there's a real business and scalable business opportunity, smart regulators, starting with places like here, actually, ADGM, are running to take that business opportunity. And then when countries start competing with each other for talent and for the startups and where are they going to emerge, you're seeing basically now the US looking at this and saying, we want to lead crypto markets and we want the US to be a lead in crypto markets. So I think a lot of this change was driven by, again, the size of the opportunity, the business opportunity, then leading to eventually governments taking a point of view of saying this is the future, and we either take a part of that future or we get left behind.
Yeah. And I guess sort of some of the things that I've noticed that you guys have been doing recently is beefing up more of your sort of local presences and also adding sort of direct access to AED, dirhams,
Yes.
and direct access to GBT. Is that part of the sort of wider plan of becoming a little bit more easier to deal with and welcoming more people onto the platform?
100%. So we operate in 12 different regions. I just heard he opened an account with us when he was in the UK to here in Abu Dhabi, but regulated in Abu Dhabi, Europe, UK, Singapore, Australia, the US, and additional jurisdictions, 1,500 employees across 12 different offices worldwide. And we realize that as our customers are actually amassing wealth and growing older, right? And we are part of a very large trend, which is the rise of Gen Y as the richest cohort of people in the planet over the next 20 years. So we're talking about $100 trillion moving from older generations to younger generations. And we realized that in order to build basically a real trusted asset manager over time for your long-term investments, even in the UK, Cash Eisen now is popular, boring, but popular. So we wanted to really capture that people come to eToro to trade, then they stay and invest in our smart portfolios and copy trader. And now we're even offering savings products in eToro, and savings are very local. Local currency is important, of course. The local open banking system like Lean here or SEPA in Europe. So we've been adding more localized services like stocks here in Abu Dhabi and stocks, of course, in the UK, all the way to the eToro Visa debit card, which can connect directly to your local currency account. So basically creating the financial super app of the different local regulations where we operate.
And I think you're the second person that said to me about building trust. And it seems that as the older, shall we say, companies are coming forward, that trust element is kind of built in because you've been around for a while, people know you, it's a brand they trust. You can then actually build out the services a lot quicker than some of the new entrants that are coming into that. Do you think that's going to be a continued trend going forward?
I think, when you think of managing your wealth over time, compounding wealth in general, and we come more from that vision of helping younger generations learn about the markets. So first, learn about the markets, believe in the markets, then actually invest and deploy your capital into the markets. And while average account size of eToro today is about $5,000, you look at a company like Schwab in the US, average account size is $300,000, right? And that is mostly the age of consumers and customers over time. People start amassing wealth actually in their 40s. And in order for us to be able to build that place where you can actually invest most of your assets or all of your assets, it's really about trusting brands that went through different business cycles and have seen those business cycles over time and nevertheless continuously innovate towards the customers, towards what's happening right now and what's interesting right now. And obviously digital assets and the combination of digital assets crypto markets, on-chain and DeFi technologies and AI is the future of investing.
Fantastic. And then final question, obviously we're here at Abu Dhabi Finance Week. You've been here a few times. How do you feel like this event compares to previous years?
I think that the first event here 2 years ago, we were a sponsor, then last year and this year as well. I think what's really interesting is I think we were in the first event, the only fintech here, or one of the few fintechs here. And you look around now and you actually see a lot of fintechs, a lot of companies from the digital space. So like this, when this event started here for the first time, it was Abu Dhabi Finance Week, a lot of traditional finance coming in. And I think this year it's roughly 50-50 between crypto and digital assets and traditional finance.
And I think that's quite a telling side of things when you've got people like Circle, Coinbase, Strategy, all flying in, all the CEOs are coming in to do that.
All following eToro.
I was going to
That's
say
the concept of eToro though, so we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for spending the time with me on the FinTech Times.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.